planning to be in just a few short days. Similar to the scene in these verses, we are preparing our meeting places for our festival of Thanksgiving. We will travel near and far to get to this great feast. There is a busyness and excitement that has started to settle in as we get closer to this holiday. Hey, we started asking the professors a few weeks ago and we were even going to have to meet this week. Don't they know that we are all giddy about the things that are to come next week? We're already talking about the different foods that we're ready to eat, the different family members and friends that we can't wait to see, and the different traditions that we can't wait to share and engage. I don't know about you, but I can already see everything spread out on the table and everybody celebrating this feast. We enter the text here in Matthew during a feast, the most significant meal of Jesus. It is the Last Supper, the institution of a celebratory meal that fulfills the Jewish Passover and anticipates the final Passover of the church into the glory of God's kingdom. By partaking at the communion table, we are invited to partake of the very essence of God by remembering Jesus' atoning death, his resurrection, and his promise to return again to feast anew with his disciples in God's kingdom. Now, we talk and preach of God's kingdom and how we hope to get there. But do we know what we're hoping for? Would we preach about it so passionately if we really knew what it meant? Would we speak of it if we knew that it means giving up the things that some of us hold so dear? Ourselves, our position or status, our ability to exclude based on race, sex, gender, and class, our material things, and our propensity to get the things that we want at the expense of others. Can we, as ministers of the gospel, continue to lead others in praying the Lord's Prayer, asking for God's kingdom to come, while carrying hatred and isms in our heart? Can we continue to stand before our congregations and serve community, knowing that we refuse to allow ourselves to lovingly engage our brothers and sisters that are all different from us? Will I choose to be like Judas, the betrayer, who was dismissed before the institution of the Lord's Supper, not able to receive the gift of Christ's body and blood in the spiritual, because I'm so caught up in myself and my ideas that I'm only receiving the bread and the wine in the natural? You see, Judas had his own self-serving agenda and left during the preparation of the feast. Again, we are also in a time of immediate preparation. Remember, we are preparing for the Thanksgiving table and all the wonderful foods and desserts that we will be partaking. I remember as a kid that there were benefits to remaining near the kitchen during the preparation of the meal. Anyone that was there at that time was always able to get a taste of what was to come. Grandma wasn't going to call me in to get a taste, and she wasn't going to sit to the side waiting for me to show up either. I had to be there. My favorite was the cake batter. Because of the distractions, though, sometimes it was hard to stay near the kitchen. But if I didn't want to miss getting one of those whisks from the mixer, I had to keep my eye on the prize and think of the goodness and the sweetness of that batter. Then I was able to enjoy just a taste while I waited for the product of that wonderful cake. In an effort to make the meaning of the Lord's Supper tangible, let's think of it today like that cake batter. That it is a preparation for what is to come. Christ has left us with the Eucharist, the whisk with the cake batter, while we await the finished cake. the return of Christ, and the coming of God's kingdom. Each time we participate in communion, we are celebrating just a taste of the goodness that Christ has promised will come. I've heard that we can't expect it to come close to God's kingdom during these times because of the way of the world. But I am here to say that if we are true ministers of the gospel, the way of the world should have little impact here at CTS. The hatred, pride, and oppressive ways of the world should have no place within these walls. If we cannot have just a taste of God's kingdom here, can we truly expect to get into God's kingdom? Can we really teach of God's kingdom where the people of all shapes, sizes, and colors will live together in peace and harmony while we harbor feelings of turmoil and discontent? I am so thankful for my chapel experience. Our diverse group, an African American, a Korean American, a European American, and an Indian American. Yes, I was purposefully adding American because we have all come together diversely here in America. And we've come to the table not bound to our own ideas and thoughts, but wanting to be loosed and freed in our true acceptance of Jesus Christ and the coming of God's kingdom. When Jesus instituted the Eucharist, he broke the bread. He did not give it all to just one. Not one who was appointed, elected, or expected to eat it all in order to celebrate the coming of God's kingdom. Instead, we are all asked to have just a taste. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusts him. My charge to us all today is that as we partake of communion, that we not just go through the motions because it is what we were taught to do, but that we do a self-examination and take inventory of our relationship with God. Are we betraying ourselves and God? Do we carry evil things in our heart? Is our life evidenced by our works of the flesh or fruit of the Spirit? If we are able to answer yes to any of these, let us do as Peter admonishes us at 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. So put away all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander. Like newborn infants, long for the pure spiritual milk, that by it you may grow up into salvation, if indeed you have tasted that the Lord is good. And I am glad to celebrate Christ's presence in my life by seeking just a taste of God's kingdom that is to come right now, right here, today. Amen.